Athens, Georgia. Game 3 to decide the series with 5th-ranked Texas and number 13, Georgia. As we get set for Game 3, let's check out what has happened so far on Saturday evening. It was a Hannah homer. Wells went deep. Texas rallied to win from 4 runs down, 7-5. But Addison Fisher, terrific yesterday in Game 2. A complete game, outstanding defense behind her in a 4-2 victory. So we will decide it here with Game 3 tonight for Mic'd Up Monday. And here's a check on the SEC standings. Just 2 weeks still remain in the regular season. Alabama and Oklahoma right now tied for first place. Got to go all the way down to LSU. Still got 9 teams in a chase for an SEC championship. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our Mic'd Up Monday here in Georgia. We'll be hearing a lot from Georgia head coach Tony Baldwin this evening. I am Beth Mowins. This is our Olympic gold medalist, Michelle Smith. We start out with the Texas Longhorns coming into this weekend, top 10 in the country in a lot of offensive categories, and it's been the heart of their lineup that has carried them through this weekend. Yeah, this is a really strong offense for Texas. They have a team batting average over 350, 69 home runs on the year, but it's really been 2 through 5 in this particular series that have done the damage. Over 400 for those 4 hitters. The rest of the team, though, is going to need to pick it up. A batting average below 200. Yeah, there you see the rest of the team has some work to do because Georgia's defense has been terrific. In fact, with the tying run at the plate yesterday, how about Emily Digby to end the game? Man, she's been outstanding in this whole this whole series. But look at the way she's going to tie for this ball back up the middle. Going into that 5-6 hole, ending the game with that line drive with runners on base in a very tight play. But look at how good their defense has been, Beth. Just 1 error in the series. 3 double plays have been turned. They've done a great job of limiting damage. They have allowed Texas to score in just 5 of the 14 innings. So they put zeros up in the other 9. And just the 1 home run allowed. So they will go back to Addison Fisher, who for the first time all season will be pitching for a 3rd consecutive day, Michelle. And it's also the first time since opening weekend that she will start on back-to-back days. Well, she was good yesterday. She threw 116 pitches. A little bit of trouble early in the game. A couple of walks, which Texas took advantage of. But then later through the game, she limited the free passes, used that really strong defense behind her. And so that's what they want to continue today. Try to roll those ground ball outs. That was a noon start for her yesterday, so plenty of time for rest and recovery. And here is the lineup for the Longhorns. We told you about 2 through 5 is tonight the night that Caden Henry gets things rolling. In her 2 years in SEC play, she has never been hitless in a conference series, and so far here at Georgia, 0 for 7 through the first 2 nights. So she'll try and set the table a little bit better to get things going. And get ready, because Texas has scored in the first inning in each of the first 2 games. 1 run on Saturday, 2 in the first inning yesterday. And Fisher opens up with a strike. One and 1 to Henry. Member of their national championship team a year ago. They returned 6 field players and their ace in the circle, Tegan Cavan, who will get the start again here in Game 3 after she picked up the save in Game 1. Two strike count to Henry. Got her. Caden thought that was up and in and out of the zone. 1 down. Well, that's what they did in yesterday's game with Fisher. They worked on the outer half to the lefties and then came back on the inner half. And you can see working the lefties away, but then we'll come inside. It's that drop ball. It's hard. There it is coming into the lefties. It is so good. When she gets underneath the hands of the batters, she is just tough with that drop ball. Yeah, she had 7 strikeouts yesterday. That tied her season high. Only 1 of those looking. And now she opens up with the backwards K to Henry. And here is Katie Stewart. Prefacing every Stewart at-bat with the fact that she has 22 home runs on the season. And the school record is 23. held by Reese Atwood, who's in the on-deck circle. She set it last year, and Stewart rips one out to left. And a one-out base runner for Texas as they try and score in the first inning for the third straight day.
Well, Katie Stewart is just a professional hitter. If she sees you enough, she's going to be able to capitalize. And this is a pitch on the inner half that she just barrels up, drives it through the 5-6 hole.
So here is Atwood. 4 for 7 so far in the series. Their career leader in home runs and runs batted in. And the active RBI leader in the country. Right back up the middle. Roos is there, stepping on the base for one over the first. And it is the 4th double play of the series for the Georgia D.
This is a defense for Georgia that is not only fundamentally sound, they are well positioned. Look where Roos is. She's way up the middle. This ball looks like a base hit. No way. She's going to step on the bag, turn a double play. 26th double play of the year for the Georgia Bulldogs.
She is the most outstanding player of the World Series last June. She is Tegan Cavan, the junior out of West Des Moines, Iowa. Her second start of the series got roughed up in her first outing. And we'll try and do better here in Game 3, her 20th start of the year with a 3.0 ERA.
Tegan Cavan, one of the best in the business, knows how to limit free passes when she is on, has a great rise ball, drop ball. But there it is. There's the key. In relief, she was outstanding, but starting the game 2 1/3 innings, and best she gave up 5 earned runs, was pulled quickly.
That was her shortest start of the season. Induces the pop-up there for out number 1 to retire Kirsten Roos. We highlight Bailey Lindemuth in that 9 spot because check out her numbers for the series. 4 for 5. Has scored a couple of times, has been on base 5 times in the 9 spot for the Bulldogs.
Well, transferred over from Texas Tech last year, struggled against Texas. No sign of those struggles showing up in the Georgia uniform, however.
Goodwin pops it up, and a problem for Stewart. Off the short hop. And a base runner here for the Dogs.
Well, and that's communication right there. I think that's a ball that Tegan Cavan can go get. It loops up in the air. When a ball loops up in the air as a pitcher, you got to go get it. She's probably communicating a little bit with Katie, and you can see she looks at Katie instead of going and getting the ball. So opportunity missed for Cavan to pick up that out. They are going to score a base hit, however, for a good win.
So the early base runner here for Georgia. That'll bring up Taylor Ellison. Senior out of McDonough, Georgia. Had a 2-run single off of Cavan on Saturday evening. Their RBI leader coming into the weekend with 40. He's been a real consistent performer this year. Second season as a starter. She's been patient, she's bided her time, she's worked hard to force Tony Baldwin to keep her in the lineup now as an upperclassman, day in and day out.
I love that. See the student athletes that show up every day, work hard, and then get their opportunity.
Georgia in the series hitting .343 with a runner on base. Another enthusiastic, energetic crowd here in Athens tonight. Ellison, ground ball to third. Nichols gets the lead runner, and that'll be it. 2 down.
Tegan Cavan has a lot of tools in her toolbox. She's got all that experience from the Women's College World Series, but it's that vertical separation. She used a good rise ball, drop ball. She changes speeds effectively, but what Georgia did against her in Game 1 is they took that rise ball away from Cavan. They were very disciplined, did not swing at anything really above the belt, hammered stuff that was below the belt.
Yeah, they focused on hitting things, but from the knees to the belt, that was it. Gordon got one of those. and drove it out of the park. A 3-run home run off of Kavan the other night.
There's a good look at it. You can see the red. That's all the pitches that they attacked on Tegan Kavan. And the week prior against Oklahoma, she had quite a few strikeouts. That rise ball was hopping at the top of the zone, but you can see the blue up there. They just were very disciplined at laying off of that rise ball, which is, trust me, easier said than done.
Georgia had the one big inning against her, a 5-run third inning on Saturday, but that was all they could muster. Texas rallied to win that, and Tegan came back into the game in the 7th inning to shut it down. It was their biggest comeback of the season and the biggest blown lead of the year for Georgia as Gordon drops that one out into shallow center, and a runner in scoring position here with 2 down.
This is a Georgia offense that is a lot of station to station. That is a rise ball that she's going to get underneath, get enough of it to pop it out onto the green.
They'll drop it in front of Caden Henry.
Yeah. Ellison going to get up to second. This is a Georgia team that's not steal much. And there are a lot of gap to gap. They've got 81 doubles on the year, 60 home runs. So they do have power, but a lot of times it's gap to gap power.
Have not had a lot of runners in scoring position in the series, just a dozen through the first couple of games. They're 7 for 12. Here's Natalie Ray, who has moved up in the batting order a couple of spots after she had a pair of hits yesterday, or excuse me, a pair of RBIs, a single and a sac fly. Chance here for her. Kavan at 71 miles an hour blows it by.
Yeah, and the pitch prior was that changeup at 61 miles an hour. When Kavan uses that effectively low in the zone and varies those speeds on that changeup between 58 and 60 miles an hour, she can be tough. Really sets up that hard drop and hard rise ball.
1-2 pitch. Ray fouls it off. Natalie's the transfer from Ole Miss and North Georgia. Came into the weekend with the best conference batting average in the SEC at 500. Pulls that one to Stewart. And Katie will step on the bag. So a couple of stranded after a couple of base hits. We are score head coach now in his 14th season at Georgia, a longtime assistant for Sweet Lou Harris-Champer. Tony's been a part of 3 of their 5 trips to the World Series, 9 trips to the Super Regionals, including the last 3 years in a row. Chopped back up the middle, and Vivi Martinez leads off the second with a single. It's 4, 5, and 6 coming up for Texas. Preseason #1 in the polls, preseason favorites in the SEC. A win today keeps them 3 back with 6 games to play in the regular season behind Oklahoma and Alabama. They do not have the head-to-head against either of those. In fact, that's their last 2 series that Alabama and Oklahoma won. And now Texas trying to fend off losing a 3rd in a row for the first time in 8 years. Good. Good sacrifice. One down for Hannah Wells. That's the 9th sack bunt for Leanne. All a part of her best season as a Longhorn.
It just shows both these coaches know how runs are going to be imperative to put up on the board early. Both going to the shorts game.
Wells steps in with some home run power, 8 of those, including 1 in this series. Good two-way player. She was in the circle, took the loss yesterday, but also drove in a run with a sacrifice fly.
Going right at her, even with first base open. She had that home run in game 1 on a pitch that was just too sweet. That was off the lefty Randy rolling.
Texas 3-16 in the series with a runner in scoring position. In at the knees, 1-2. Addison Fisher, who was at the World Series with UCLA last year, a freshman All-American.
That's the result of the drop ball. When you're going up against a hard down drop ball pitcher, it's so easy to foul that ball off your own feet, your shin. Fisher is that, as you said, had a good freshman campaign at UCLA, but wanted to go somewhere to become an ace.
Embrace the ace. In the SEC, gets the swing and the miss there from Wells. They'll have to throw it down. 2 outs.
Well, and that's the pitch that was effective yesterday. She throws this pitch about 71 miles an hour. It's effective again today. 27% whiff rate yesterday, getting those whiffs again today. Wells swings over the top of it. Second big out of the inning.
That's her second strikeout. And here's Katie Bennett. First pitch swinging, grounds it to Roos. Texas gets one aboard into scoring position, leaves Vivi stranded.
Break on that, 5 inches downward. And when Kavan is firing on all cylinders, she is coming right at you. Really good velocity. She uses that rise ball up in the zone about 64% of the time, then down with that drop, the changeup around 11% of the time. And she will vary it depending on who she's facing.
And the key for her is we'll keep an eye on the velo on the changeup. Got to keep that under 60.
100%. When that starts floating higher at 61, 62 miles an hour, there's not enough separation in the velocities, and a lot of hitters will just end up catching it, putting it into play, or getting base hits.
6, 7, 8 here for Georgia. This is Marissa Miller, senior from Sewanee, Georgia. 1 for 4 so far in the series. One and two. Reaches for it, and that'll find left field.
Well, and Beth, that's the changeup we just talked about. On a 1-2 pitch, so in a situation where she is ahead, she should win this pitch. She throws a changeup, but it's too fast. It's 61 miles an hour, and I just mentioned it. When it's too fast, what happens? The hitters will catch up to it with that barrel and punch it through the 5-6 hole, and so that's exactly what Marissa Miller did. Great base hit to lead off the inning.
Already 3 hits through the first 6 batters for Georgia. And Gabby Novickus, the infield pop. Stewart will take it 1 down. Texas hoping to get Kavan back on track. She's 0-2 in her last 4 starts, Michelle. And opponents have scored 21 runs in 21 innings.
Yeah, she has been beat up. Now, granted, the opponents have been really tough.
Really good.
But, you know, she's given up quite a few home runs, the earned runs. You just don't always expect it from Kavan, but you're right. She needs to tighten up a couple little things.
Digby drops down the bunt. Teagan quick out of the circle to get there. And with 2 down, Miller now in scoring position.
What? And the key for Kavan, as you can see in those last 20 innings pitched, Beth, it's ERA over 6. That's just unheard of. How about the whip? Almost 2 runners per inning getting on base.
Bailey Lindemuth. And this will be 1 time through the order for Teagan. As we mentioned, though, at the top of the program, Bailey's been swinging a good bat this series. These two squared off last year in the championship series in Oklahoma City when Bailey was with Texas Tech. And Kavan was simply spectacular with a World Series record, 31 2/3 innings without allowing an earned run. She went 4-0 at the World Series last year.
Oh, and that was after coming off of a really tough super regional against Clemson, where she was knocked out of game 3, came back in, almost like she did here in game 1, to save the game.
And a strikeout there as she gets Lindemuth looking. Her first of the ball game, scoreless through 2 in Athens. Katie Stewart slammed one off of the building beyond the left field fence in a Texas win over Oklahoma. Sooners won the series. Texas grabbed game 3 last weekend, and one of the farthest home runs we've seen in just a season chock full of them all over the place, in particular Oklahoma and UCLA.
Both those programs going to blow through the 161 that the Oklahoma 2021 team holds.
Could both do it this week. This Georgia team heads to Norman next weekend, and UCLA and Oregon a game behind Nebraska in the Big Ten standings. UCLA finishes with Washington and Oregon. And that amazing 1-2 punch of Megan Grant and Jordan Woolery.
They've been the best in the business together since they stepped on campus in Westwood.
Here's J.C. Nichols. It's 8-9 and then 1. Almost took a funky bounce, but Novickus able to handle it. 1 down. So here's what we're talking about with the home runs. 161 is the record. Oklahoma's already at 158 and UCLA at 154.
Wow.
And when you go with Grant and Woolery and you talk about Kendall Wells at Oklahoma, first time in the history of the game we've had 3 30 home run hitters in a single season.
Well, and a lot of the individual records too. Some of them you got to go back over 30 years.
Yeah. Kendall Wells at OU pursuing the Laura Espinoza single season record. 1995 at Arizona. Of course, yesterday she tied the Oklahoma record set by Jocelyn Allo, who actually has done it twice, hitting 34.
34, yeah, that's right.
Jalo shots. 3-0 to Maloney. Fisher trying not to walk the number 9 hitter here for Texas. So Kendall with 34, that ties their school record. Megan Grant has tied Stacy Newman at UCLA. And of course here, Katie Stewart, 1 behind Reese Atwood. They both might get up this inning.
Yeah, so a lot of records, a lot of program records on the verge of being broken.
So from 3-0 to 3-2 now, Fisher v. Maloney. And it's through the wickets of Digby at short.
Well, that's something you don't see very often. Just the 18th error of the year on this really strong Georgia defense. And this is what speed will do to you. So you can see she's having to move up the middle and probably just thinking about the speed of Maloney. Takes her, pulls her head up just a little bit.
5th of the season for Digby. And here's the top of the order again. Henry struck out. Looking at a rise ball, her first time up. One of 2 strikeouts for Fisher the first time through the lineup. Caden Henry now 0 for 8 in the series. Has never been hitless in an SEC series over the last 2 years. Henry. And the trend will continue as she smacks that through the 5-6 hole. And a couple on with one out for Katie Stewart.
Well, that was a hit and run, so Maloney was on the move on that pitch. Great job by Henry to bash that through the 5-6 hole, but this is the reason they wanted her up. Katie Stewart in this situation.
Singled. Her first time up. .477 on the season, 22 home runs, 52 runs batted in. Big difference for her this year with Mike White and their new hitting coach, Aaron Earlywine. She has been much better dealing up in the zone and knowing which rise balls to hit and which ones not to hit.
Absolutely. It's pitch selection, Beth, but it's also some mechanical changes, very subtle, but getting the front foot down and the bat a little flatter to be able to catch that pitch up in the zone. Now against Fisher, she's going to see a lot of drop balls. They've been trying to keep the ball in the yard, obviously. Fisher's given up just 4 home runs this year, mostly because she does throw that drop ball about 70% of the time.
It does introduce a potential double play. Stewart hit into one yesterday, actually the first of the season for her.
So the defense, middle infielders are playing deep. They're in that double play depth. And that's when you know the ball is moving a lot. That's a 2-0 count, and you know, she is just diving in and that ball's just falling off the table. Kind of that sword swing.
This is just her second wrist opportunity of the series. Fisher coming in on her hands, 2-2.
Really challenging her on the inner half with that really late, sharp downward movement. And as a pitcher, you just have to trust it. You got to throw it, let the ball do the work, trust that it's going to break down.
Chopped to short. And Digby can't handle it cleanly, and the bases are loaded for Reese Atwood. And here comes the best slugger in school history with the bases loaded. Gonna score that a hit.
I think that's a ball that Digby needs to go get and is able to
flip to third, for the lead runner. So Chelsea Wilkinson, the pitching coach, out to chat. And JT D'Amico out to talk with the defense here, what to do with the bases loaded and one out. And all kinds of power coming to the plate.
More than likely, they're going to be challenging Reese on the lower half. They just got to pick a side if they're going to go out and keep the middles up the middle, or if they're going to come inside to her and then try to cover that 5-6 hole.
Double play depth here initially for the Georgia middle infielders. And a chance here, Digby. They get one at second and overthrow at first base. And a couple of runs will come in for Texas.
And I'm surprised on that one, Beth, that they didn't try to come home to first in case they didn't get the 6-4-3 double play. So a lot of decisions when the bases are loaded, communication is paramount. It could have been because Digby is up the middle, so she is a little bit deeper, but they still had plenty of time. Even with the speed of Ashton Maloney at third, they had the opportunity to still get that out at home.
So a pair of runs come in. See if they score that a fielder's choice, and then a second error on the middle infield here. Atwood will pick up an RBI. And the error charged to the second baseman, Roos, on the throw. So we spoke so highly of the defense, Michelle. They've been good all year long, but some issues in the top of the third for Georgia, and it's a 2-0 Texas advantage.
Well, with a team like Texas, you give them one extra opportunity, they're going to score. You give them a couple, and they're going to put crooked numbers up. That's what they've done here.
Vivi Martinez trying to keep it going. She singled her first time up. Her 4th hit already of the series. Been having a good weekend. A little more responsibility for her with the shuffling of the batting order for Texas. So now she's protecting Stewart and Atwood instead of hitting in front of them.
Yeah, and I like this move because I think Katie Stewart, you needed to get her in the 2 hole to have her have extra at-bats. When she was in the 4 and 5 hole, she simply wasn't always coming up, and that change happened after the Alabama series for the Oklahoma series at home for Texas. And Reese's power numbers have been down a little bit, but for average hitting, she's been doing a good job of protecting Stewart.
Off of Fisher on the comebacker, and Vivi will be safe at first. Atwood to second.
Well, Vivi's so explosive. This Texas team knows what they're hunting. They're looking down, and this is just a pitch that's too much over the white. The height is all right, but just too much over the middle of the plate.
Texas asked Leanne Good to lay down a sacrifice the last time up. Now an RBI opportunity for her way back in the batter's box. Right foot's almost out of the back. 400 average with some pop. Fisher trying to work those margins, those corners. Good. Off the glove of Linda Booth, and it scoots out to left, and another run was scored as Atwood comes in for the 3rd run of the inning.
Texas just doing a good job of hitting the ball hard and making some things happen, trying to spin this defense, what they've done. Linda Booth is going to leave her feet. It goes off of the glove, and with Digby up the middle, Owens is going to scooch through to the green, and another run plated for Texas. 3 up on the board here in the 3rd.
Scored an RBI single.
Both the batters who got on base on the errors have scored, so that's really the free passes that have hurt Georgia.
So 4 singles and a couple of errors fueling this surge by Texas. And Hannah Wells now with runners on the corners, and it hits the base runner Martinez, but fortunately for Texas, she's in foul ground.
Which is why when you're at 3rd, you are always taught to make sure that you are leading off into foul territory.
Yes.
So if you're hit, you're not out.
She's inside that baseline, she would have been out.
That's right. Which we saw that in the series, too.
Yes, we have.
I've seen a lot of interesting plays.
Hannah Wells struck out on a drop ball back in the 2nd. Third straight game that Texas has jumped in front. 1st and 3rd situation, Good will take 2nd as Vivi dives back into 3rd. So now a pair of RBI chances out there. Everything's been on the ground, on the dirt, tough to handle off the Texas bats this inning. And now Mike White wants to chat with Wells. Mike now in his 8th season, coming off that first national championship in program history and a school record 56 wins a year ago. wouldn't mind getting tested, learning some tough lessons during the regular season if it gets his club ready for the postseason. And that's been the case at Texas. They've been in the finals 3 of the last 4 years.
You know, as the season goes on, it doesn't get easier, it gets harder. So coaches, they like their team to be challenged. They like them to be in a hostile environment. So, you know, that's the stuff you're going to face if you're going to get to Oklahoma City.
Started out 31-1, but they're 3-6 since, in a tough patch. In the midst of 13 straight games against ranked opponents, they're 5-6 so far. They go home, quick turnaround for a midweek against Oklahoma State. And then they still have Kentucky and Arkansas left in the SEC.
Well, this is kind of what happened to Texas last year, too. They had a tough April. Able to bounce back from that April. And the SEC tournament where Texas A&M gave them a hard time, and there it is. That's that April slump we've been talking about.
Will April showers, Smitty, bring more Nave?
It did last year.
And a called strike 3. Texas leaves a couple out there wanting, but 3 do get in as they put pressure on the Georgia D. Hey, Michelle.
That's right. The finale of this series.
Always great. The Mic'd Up Mondays. A little personality from the coaches and Tony Baldwin.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to get a look inside the dugout, hear what they're saying to the team or to the other coaches.
Third straight day, they're going to have to try and come from behind. Texas, the 3-run top of the third. And some self-inflicted wounds for Georgia, so top of the order is a good place to start to try and answer back. There's Kirsten Roos. Fly ball out to Henry in center, 1 down. Georgia doesn't have an easy road either. They still have a road trip at Oklahoma next weekend, and then they'll finish here at home against Florida.
So it's a battle. That's the difference right now, is that this Georgia team is swinging at the rise ball that Cavan is throwing at the top of the zone. They laid off that in game 1.
All of a sudden, they've got a hard-charging LSU squad coming up in the rearview mirror. Bayou Bengals, they were opposite. Their tough SEC road was front-loaded, and they've got an opportunity to really make a run here late. They've won 9 of their last 11. They finish up with Mississippi State and Auburn.
Confidence is king, right? It makes such a difference when you're playing against or with a confident team. As wins start to build up, it's easy to feel good about yourself.
Tough to pick up a ton of ground when the likes of Alabama has won 14 of 16. Texas A&M has won 9 in a row to move up into 3rd place behind Bama and OU.
Yeah, A&M has really kind of righted their ship. They looked like they were struggling there a couple weeks ago, but won some series, those 9 in a row.
We will see the Crimson Tide mic'd up Monday next week. They'll be on the road at Tennessee. Tennessee's been sitting on that Duke loss about a week now. They're ready to get back to work.
And that'll be interesting seeing Carlin Pickens. And you know, she had that injury earlier in the year. To see what kind of recovery she's gone through. So, yeah, it's a long season, and the SEC is a gauntlet.
Against that Alabama offense that is vastly improved. Goodwin fouls another one off. Of course, it's all leading towards the SEC tournament. We will be in Lexington, Kentucky, 2nd week in May. And then we jet off to Selection Sunday, May 10th, where we will not only have the top 16 seeded this year, but the top 32 seeded this year.
Yeah, that's going to make a big difference. 17 through 32, knowing where they're going just based on their seed. versus geography, which has been a lot of it in the past. 9th pitch coming. Nice at bat for Goodwin.
Jaden lifts that one out towards Henry, and she'll give way to Maloney, 2 down.
Another nice changeup around 60 miles an hour for Tegan Cavan, but she's really getting underneath that rise ball, and when she gets underneath that rise ball, she releases it lower. When you release it lower, it gets into the eyes a little bit quicker, and that's really the key for a rise ball pitcher. First 4 batters, given up a couple hits. Since then, she's retired 6 of the last 7. With that rise ball looking profoundly different and better today versus it was in game 1, and that's another example of that pitch up in the zone.
Ellison couldn't stay away from it, up at the eyes.
And so from a pitching perspective, we always talk about a rise ball. You want to release it low. You release it low, it moves from low to high, the opposite of the drop. The drop, you want to release it higher, so it moves from high to low.
And yet make them all look similar, so you can tunnel those pitches, and no 100%. Coaches can pick them.
So this is what we're looking at, is the way she gets long and it really reaches back and underneath that ball. That's one of the keys. The other key, too, is that last pitch we just showed you is a changeup. So the way she's getting around that pitch, she's a little bit more upright, but it looks like all the other pitches, right? And that's the key point of a good off-speed or changeup pitch, is that you got to sell it.
Catches the corner. 2-2 with 2 outs. Cavan looking for a 1-2-3 inning. Ellison pops it up, and there's Martinez. 3 flyouts and a 3-0 Texas lead, and due up. The trend has continued today. The RBIs coming from 2, 3, 4, and 5, as they have throughout this series. So the bottom will go back to work. Ground out to Gabby Novickus. 1 down.
I love those 1-pitch outs.
That'll bring up J.C. Nichols. Ground out to first base, her first time out. J.C., of course, big shoes to fill, stepping in at third base. Out of Durant, Oklahoma, replacing Nia Scott, their fearless leader from a year ago, who was so stellar, both with the bat and glove. J.C., the focus for much of this season has been her glove work. Mike White's been very pleased with her defense at third, and so moving forward, trying to work on that batting average against the SEC pitching staffs.
Yeah, and she's done a good job of settling in, a .338 batting average, and if you can do that, play that position, that's golden.
And that'll squirt through the middle. So already a couple of base runners for the bottom 3 in the order, and here's Ashton Maloney, who reached on an error and scored in the third.
Nichols just gonna get a pitch that stays a little bit elevated, and she reverses that spin. You could really see that ball going back up the middle. One of the ways to hit a good drop ball is to drop that barrel into it, reverse that spin as it heads out toward the green, and she does just that.
Maloney will complete the second time through the batting order for Texas, and already 5 different Longhorns with hits tonight. With an RPI of 2, a strength of schedule of 3, Nichols goes, the throw down, and plenty of time to get her. Miller to Digby.
That is a great job. That's a dart by Miller from behind the dish down to Digby. It's perfectly thrown, a little bit short of the bag, but Digby, the way that she's going to grab this and get that tag down, really good job as they get Nichols trying to steal a base.
Maloney. Yeah, and that'll be the third out of the inning. To the bottom of the fourth. 3-0 Texas. With 4, 5, and 6 coming up. Sarah Gordon, Natalie Ray, and Marissa Miller. They have 2 of the 3 Georgia hits tonight.
Yeah, and Kavana's been efficient, just 40 pitches through 3 innings of work.
Sarah now has a hit in all 3 games in the series. Interesting with Tegan Kavan, it's the opposite of what you often see. They're not as familiar with you, don't hit you as well in the opener, and then game 3 is a bit more of a struggle. It's been the reverse for her here at Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah, because she does have all those tools. You know, she can go down, she can go up. She throws a screwball a little bit to lefties and to righties. You know, not a lot, but she can go to those other pitches when she has to. Not a lot of strikeouts, just one in her line, but she's retired 7 of the last 8. And a lot of that's because she's pitching from ahead, and when Tegan Kavan pitches from ahead, her batting average against is vastly different than when she's pitching from behind. And we talk about all the time as pitching coaches, as pitchers, you've got to be able to work from ahead. And here's a good look. Look at the batting average against. 135 when you're ahead. When you're behind, 465. I mean, that is profound.
Gordon does not recognize the rise. Swings at it out of the zone, 1 down.
Right, and that's the key. You know, when she's ahead, she's in a situation where she can throw that up at your eyes and get you to chase. And so really what she's doing here is she's putting a pitch in a location where she's asking the hitter to strike themselves out. And that's exactly what happened. Gordon goes after that high pitch, strikes herself out on that rise ball up in the zone.
Well, it's the recognition from Mike White, from Patty Ruth, and from Tegan. Okay, we won a national championship, great, but I can't be the same pitcher the next year. We're not defending a championship. They say they're attacking a championship. And so Tegan has worked hard to make sure that there's a bit of a reinvention. There's a bit of a different look. Still can zap you with that rise, but other tools now that you have to be wary of.
Yeah, and in her freshman year, she was primarily rise. She really worked that drop her next 2 years. I mean, and that's really the key, the drop, having something different to go to. She also does have, as I mentioned, that screwball and curveball. She doesn't throw them a lot. Screwball about 5% of the time. Curveball, a little bit less than that, but the changeup as well. And that's really the key. Look at that. 86 strikeouts on the rise ball.
Boy, she is ripping it tonight.
Yeah, we talk about her changeup as well. When she's keeping that under 60 miles an hour, it really does help set up the rise ball. Gives the hitter less time to identify, okay, it's hard. All right, now it's up and too far out of the zone. Oh, I'm not sure I'm swinging through it. All those awful things that go through your head as a hitter. I've identified it as hard and
get out of your kitchen.
Exactly.
Two here to Natalie Ray. There's the change at 59. Fouls that away.
Ray has really good barrel control, good eye-hand coordination. Came into the series as the leading hitter in the SEC. Still hitting .468.
Got under it. Henry will come back in to make the catch, 2 down. Eight straight retired by Kavan, and she's looking for a second consecutive 1-2-3 inning. There's Marissa Miller, singled out to left field, back in the second inning. Slow roller, and it's cut off by Nichols, and the throw to first offline. And Miller is aboard for the second time tonight.
Well, and that's probably a ball that needs to go all the way through to Vivi Martinez. Nice effort by Nichols, but Martinez was right in that 5-6 hole, and I think that's what Martinez is going to talk with Nichols about. So you can see she's going to go down, and Vivi Martinez is right there to be able to go get it, especially with Miller being a right-handed batter. Plenty of time for the shortstop to go deep in the hole and get that.
So this will pass the bat to Gabby Novickas. Popped up to first, her first time around. Right back up the middle. And for the third of their 4 innings, they've got a runner in scoring position. And now the tying run will come to the plate. It's Emily Digby. And that'll induce a conference out in the circle. Digby grounded back to Kavan, her first time up. She's 1 for 7 so far in the series. Had that web gem at short that ended game 2 yesterday.
Digby can run into a ball. She's got 7 home runs on the year. She's got some pop in that bat. 7 doubles.
She also has one of the 2 errors involved in that 3-run third inning for Texas. So a shot at a little redemption here for Digby. Runners out there at second base for Georgia as Digby steps in. Molly Mitchell is the pinch runner. As the tying run digs in at home. Back-to-back singles with 2 outs here for Georgia. One and one. Georgia has trailed early in both games in the series. They have rallied to take the lead in both games of the series. lost it in game 1, held on to it in game 2.
Boy, and you can really see the shift for Texas. Look at the way that Caden Bennett, the center fielder, is way over. Excuse me, that's Caden Henry. Bennett is the left fielder who's pulled well over as well.
Inside to Digby, 2-2. Just missed it at 70 miles an hour, full count. Base runners will be on the move here for Georgia. Digby trying to drop it down and left and does. Mitchell racing around to score. Novickus sliding in safe at third. It's an RBI double for Digby.
Great job by Digby in really beating the shift of Texas, because Katie Bennett was pulled well off the line, and this ball's just going to float and drop down. You can see the way it's going to get right down the line. Opportunity for Mitchell, the pinch runner, to be able to score, and as well for Novickus to get all the way to third.
Lindemuth with a pair in scoring position for Georgia. The 2-out rally for the Dogs. So they had 3 hits through the first 3 innings, and now they've gotten 3 more in this inning from the bottom of their lineup.
And all of them with 2 outs. So it's a great job passing the bat for Georgia.
Caban struck out Lindemuth back in the 2nd.
Nice pick by Reese Atwood, showing why she's one of the best catchers in the game back there behind the dish.
Fouls it away. .326 on the year with a runner in scoring position. And those two who will be with the U.S. national team this summer, talking through some things.
Well, this is a big one here, because Kirsten Roos is waiting on the on-deck circle leadoff hitter who has some good pop, really a lot of energy. Big part of this offense for Georgia. Do not want her getting up with the bases loaded.
Lindemuth pops it up in foul territory. Maloney will get there to end the threat. But a run on the board for Georgia in a 3-1 game. Nicely right there.
Yeah, I love it. Tells them what he wants, and they follow through. They execute.
Respond, yes. Got to run up. They left a couple more out there, but let's see if Georgia can grab the momentum here and get a 1-2-3 inning and get back to work. Easier said than done, however, against the top of the Texas order. Henry, Stewart, and Atwood coming up for the 3rd time to face Fisher for the 2nd day in a row. And now Randy Rolling has come on, and she induces the ground ball. 1 down.
Rolling has that lefty spin, so a completely different look after seeing Fisher, who's right-handed and hard down at 70 miles an hour. Rolling is going to try and roll some ground balls herself. 3rd time through this Texas lineup.
Texas saw her in game 1 of the series on Saturday. Stewart has a couple of singles, both through the left side. There's the 0-1 from Rolling. Junior out of Modesto, California. Fisher, 4 innings of work tonight, 0 earned runs. The 3-run third included a couple of Georgia miscues.
3 strikeouts. She rolled 7 ground balls out. Had that double play, so really did her job. It was just some uncharacteristic defensive miscues that put that 3 spot up for Texas.
And for Randy Rolling, 5 2/3 innings of work against Texas on Saturday. Threw over 100 pitches. And gets Stewart to pop it up, and Randy will take care of this business herself, 2 down. Here's Reese Atwood. Hit into a double play in the first. Drove in a run with a fielder's choice in the third. That was the first ball in the air today. The first pop-up for Texas.
Oh, I thought that was coming in.
Off the facade, crashing down on the crowd.
It was close. Thought it was going to go after my salad.
You were going to have to save us, Smitty? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
We just got a piece of that, fouled it off.
I'm sure this Texas team right now is like thankfully not having to try to pick a pitch off their shoelaces. Trying to look at something knee and above.
Rolling trying to get the 1-2-3 inning here. Coming out of the bullpen for Georgia. Right back to her. And Randy taking care of business. So a little momentum swing. Tied for 5th place in the SEC with a win tonight. Georgia can move into a tie for 6th with a win tonight. 2 regular season weekends to go before the SEC tournament. A 3-run third inning for Texas, the difference. But Georgia got 1 in the 4th and then a quick 1-2-3 inning defensively. So here they go with their top of the order.
3rd time through seeing Cavan in this game. Opportunity to try to hunt something.
Roos drives Bennett back, and then she circles around to make the catch. 1 down. Texas has held the lead off to 0 for 3 tonight. And here's Jaden Goodwin. Jaden extended her hitting streak to 10 straight with a single back in the first. Takes a look at ball 1. Shorty's got 5 hits in the series. And will not add to it there, 2 down.
Good job by Vivi Martinez to go back on that. Bennett was coming in.
Caban's been efficient here in the 5th. 4 pitches to get the 2 outs, and here's Taylor Ellison. In for a strike.
Well, really, she's been efficient in the game. Beth, 72 pitches here in the bottom of the 5th. That's impressive. Usually we want to say 15 pitches an inning, plus or minus.
0-2.
And the other big note is that, you know, no free passes. She hasn't walked anybody, no hit batters.
Only a couple of strikeouts thus far.
Good split. 9 outs in the air, 3 ground outs, 2 strikeouts. And Kavan's the type of pitcher that, I mean, she can get strikeouts in bunches. Just recently, last week, had her strikeout number 500.
Winner of this one takes the series 2-1. Both these clubs with top 16 RPIs, which would put them in a position to host regional play in the NCAA tournament. And that's a called strike 3. 1-2-3 again for Kavan as we head to the 6th in a 3-1 Texas game.
Tegan Kavan showing why she's one of the best in the business. Ability to go upstairs, throw that rise at multiple levels. Picks up her 3rd strikeout of the game.
Pokes and Longhorns coming up Wednesday night on ESPN2. There's the tournament resume for Texas. Very strong RPI, strength of schedule. A win tonight, I believe, would tie Oklahoma for the most top 25 RPI wins in the country. Arkansas is number 1 coming into the day today in the RPI. Alabama is number 1 in the KPI, which is also a piece of criteria that the selection committee will use.
Yeah. KPI gives a little more weight to if your wins are on the road or at home.
Oklahoma State, by the way, huge that midweek contest because right now they're on the host bubble.
Yep.
They're fighting for one of those top 16 spots in the RPI.
Yeah, they have a lot of good quad 1 wins, and there's a lot that goes into this formula for the selection committee.
Martinez, not well, drop in for a base hit. Vivi leads off the 6th with her 3rd single of the night.
I like Vivi in that 4-hole. I know she's protecting Stort and Atwood, but she does such a good job. That's a pitch, a rise ball that's up. A little bit of a jam job, but because she's so strong, finishes her swing, she gets that extra momentum, power on the ball to be able to get it to drop on the green.
That'll bring up Leanne Good. Put down a sacrifice in the 2nd, and then had an RBI single in the 3rd. Skies that. Roos is under it. 1 down. Yeah, there'll be all kinds of good stuff for the fans to keep track of these last couple of weeks of the regular season. You have to look at the teams that are flirting with a 500 record. You have to be 500 or better to get into the NCAA tournament. So that would include the likes of Auburn and Missouri and Kentucky in the SEC. There's always a chance that there's a team that's right on the edge going to the SEC tournament, needing a win or 2.
Yes. And that's why every win is so important.
There is your 500 record watch right now, also with the likes of Louisiana and Liberty, who are usually in the tournament year in and year out. Of course, Liberty, the stunning upset of Texas A&M in the regionals last year.
A lot of good mid-majors this year, some big upsets. Texas State, Grand Canyon.
Belmont.
Yeah.
And a strikeout for Randy Rolling.
3 strikeouts tonight. Hannah Wells. First one swinging on a drop. This one on a curveball coming inside. Rolling so good at throwing as the left side into those right-handed hitters. Not afraid. Good curveball.
First 3K game of Hannah's career. And with 2 down, it's Katie Bennett. A couple of ground balls to the right side for her tonight.
Just shows how tough the SEC is. So you hit a 0-2 pitch on the outer half for a home run in game 1. And guess what?
You don't see another one of
No,
those.
you do not. Nope. And they're like, oh, we're going to attack you under the hands. We're going to give you everything else but that pitch.
Well, that's what, we've talked about Cavan and pitchers having to reinvent themselves year in and year out. The hitters need to make those kinds of adjustments, too. Once there's a book out, once there's a scouting report on you.
Yeah, exactly. To your point, Beth, you know if you've hit a pitch that more than likely you're not going to get it again, or if you do, you're going to get it when the pitcher can throw it for a ball, can try to elevate it out of the zone or run you out of the zone. It's like a chess match out there.
2-2 with 2 outs to Bennett. And now counts full. So Livy Martinez will be running at first. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Rowling.
Randy Rowling showing that she's got that good left side movement. Nice spin speed, rise ball at the top of the zone. It's a little up, it's a little out. 2 strikeouts for Rowling in the inning.
He's in already this year.
Yeah, Monty Johnson from Belmont. She actually gave the Bulldogs their first loss of the season.
That's a golden ticket.
Golden ticket.
Go pro.
That's right.
This might be the best shot at erasing the deficit for Georgia here in the bottom of the 6th. They've got 4, 5, 6 hitters due up. Sarah Gordon, a single and a strikeout, and Gordon drives one down the line towards the foul pole and out of play. Two and one. Gordon knocks that one off of Martinez, and the tying run will come to the plate for Georgia.
Well, that's what Georgia needed, just the second inning of this game where they've led off and gotten the lead off on.
And this is a moment that Tony Baldwin was looking for. He moves Ray up in the batting order behind Gordon. A ground out and a fly out for her. This has been the story of the Georgia season. Tough losses in close games. They're 1-7 this year in 1-run games. They won a 2-run game yesterday. Lost a 2-run game on Saturday.
Well, you mentioned it. It's always that pitch. You got to make that one pitch. You got to get that big hit.
Score that an E6, by the way, on Martinez.
So his execution, situational, softball, so important. The game's on the line, being able to make the plays.
Last 2 weeks of the season here for Ray, she's been hitting .500. Big opportunity for her.
Down 0-2, just needs to be productive, put that ball down somewhere.
Cavan Tried to get her to chase.
Absolutely. In that count, you're putting that rise ball up above her eyeballs.
Fouls off the 1-2 offering. And Kavan gets her. Strikeout number 4, 1 down.
That's a big get for Kavan because Ray does not strike out a lot, just her 10th of the year, but that's a really good rise ball on the outer half. It's got late sharp movement. She just gets Ray to swing underneath of it for that big first out of the inning.
Marissa Miller, who has 2 for 2, a couple of singles. Her pinch runner scored in the 4th. The lone run up on the board for the Dogs. They've had chances in 3 of the 5 innings, finally breaking through in the 4th. Another base runner here in the 6th. This is low, 3-1.
Yeah, big count here for Miller, who's 2 for 2 on the night. Raised her batting average a bit here in this game. It's hard to do against Kavan.
Teagan has not walked anybody yet tonight. Miller has 2 home runs, 8 extra base hits on the season. Full count. Got her. Back-to-back strikeouts for Kavan, 2 outs.
And that's a big changeup in a great situation for Kavan because Miller hit the changeup her first at-bat for a base hit, but they come back in a full count situation and they put it in a perfect spot at the knee and they let it drop down. We showed it earlier. It's got about 5 inches of vertical drop on it. Really good pitch for Teagan Kavan.
That'll bring up Gabby Novickus. Missed low, 2-0.
Yeah, Kavan's changeup we talk about a lot. The one that she gave up the base hit to Miller on was 61 miles an hour. The one that she just threw for the strikeout, 59 miles an hour. So continuing to make adjustments throughout the game on her pitches.
Falling behind here. Got Novickus to swing at what looked like ball 3.
Yeah, another changeup. I mean, that's a big pitch. When you're 2-0 and a leverage count for the hitter and you come back with a 59-mile-an-hour changeup.
This is low again, 3-1. all four will get the tying run aboard and the go-ahead to the plate. And it's Emily Digby who had the RBI double in the fourth inning.
It's just the first walk of the game. Kavan, last two batters, running up to 3-ball count, starting to work behind a little bit here late in the game.
So a pair of base runners off of an error and a walk. Pinch runner will come on here for Georgia at first base. And some bullpen activity for Texas. Citlali Gutierrez. Looks like Natalie Donaldson is the pinch runner at first for Georgia, the tying run.
Outfield still shifted again for Texas, even though Digby beat it last time, had that flare down the little field line. They've got Caden Henry shaded to right field. Katie Bennett, the left fielder, pulled over. Well, now Texas is going to talk about it a little bit.
Digby does have 7 home runs, 33 runs batted in on the season. Gutierrez awaits if need be. She was terrific in her relief performance in Game 1 on Saturday.
She's such a good mix with Tegan Kavan. Kavan's a lot of high heat rise ball, and Citlali Gutierrez is a really good curve ball, down ball, off-speed curve that she blends very well with the hard curve.
Kavan will stay.
Kavan, 8 of the last 12 pitches have been balls, so starting to work behind a little bit. And Georgia's starting to be a little bit more disciplined on pitches out of the zone.
Down a pair, 2 on with 2 outs. Jammed her. 1-1. That squirts away from Atwood, and the runners will advance. So a serious threat for Georgia without a hit in the inning. Gordon at third, Donaldson at second. And Digby's one swing away from tying it up or taking the lead. Swings through the change, 2-2. Tough pitch from the All-American.
Starting to pull that pitch out a little bit more here, third time through the lineup.
Struck her out. 3 strikeouts in the inning ends the threat.
Tegan Kavan showing why she is an All-American and a national champion. The rise ball at the top of the zone. Hey, how about a 59-mile-an-hour changeup? And then the curve on the outer half. Tegan Kavan with 3 big strikeouts to get out of the jam.
Inning tonight in Athens, Texas. In 6th place right now. A win gets them into a tie for 5th as the score stands. They're up 3-1. Tegan Kavan, terrific job to end a Georgia threat. And now they'll go to work here in the 7th. Winner wins the series tonight with 2 weeks remaining in the SEC regular season and then off to Lexington, Kentucky for the SEC tournament. Nichols now 0-2. It's 8-9 and then 1. Randy Rowland coming on in relief here, working her third inning. Has given up just the one hit to the first 7 she's faced. And trying to work through something with her cleats there.
She's asking if she can have a pitch.
Something in the dirt there?
I wonder. Yeah, it looks like maybe where that back foot is off the pitching rubber.
Drama in all 3 of the games here in Athens this weekend.
They've been tight and competitive.
Comeback win for Texas in game 1. A comeback win for Georgia in game 2. Nine teams within 6 games of first place in the SEC as Rowling takes care of out number 1. And here's Ashton Maloney.
Maloney started that chaos in the 3rd inning.
Reached on an error in the 3rd, grounded out in the 4th. And now up 2-0. Taken all the way on that one.
Yeah, Maloney doesn't walk a lot, just 16 on the year as a slapper. She doesn't strike out a lot, though, either. Just 7 strikeouts on the year.
Yeah, now full count.
Good job by Rowling to work herself back into a 3-2 count after being down 3-0.
Maloney has not struck out in the series. Fouls it back. Nice juggling catch.
That's right.
By the guy wearing the Randy Rowland jersey.
Right.
And here is Randy trying to take care of Ashton Maloney. Lost her. So a walk to the number 9 hitter. And Maloney's on base for the 2nd time.
One area that Georgia's cleaned up, just the first walk of the game given up against and to Texas.
So back to Caden Henry. 1 for 3 tonight. Single in the 3rd, her lone hit of the series. And Wilkinson will come out to talk with Rowling.
that is one area they've cleaned up. They had 10 walks in the first 2 games to Texas. And anytime, I mean, they did have the errors, though, so that obviously didn't help them. But it really does come down to free passes, right? Walks, hit batters, and errors. You can count all those as free passes, giving your opponent the opportunity to get on base when they haven't really earned it. Just makes it so much easier to score when you're receiving those things as an offense.
Yeah, it's just been the one bad inning, that 3-run third. 4 infield hits and 2 errors. Texas without a hit with a runner on base since that 3rd inning.
Rolling's pitch on the outer half starting to climb up a little bit. That's supposed to be a little bit more curveball. It's climbing up more like a rise ball.
Katie Stewart awaits on deck, and she will come up with a pair on base, back-to-back walks.
Well, Katie Stewart is very good at hitting off left-handed pitchers. The home run that she hit against Oklahoma, the moonshot, was off of Audrey Lowry, a lefty.
2 for 3 with a couple of singles and a pop-up. A home run shy of the school record. Rolling comes right in with a strike. Reese Atwood set those numbers a year ago en route to the national championship. And now 0-2. As Atwood looks on from the on-deck circle. Not a play.
Just missed that. On an 0-2 pitch. It's a little close. You have to remember, Rowland gave up the 0-2 home run to Hannah Wells.
Another 0-2 pitch coming from Rowling. Called strike 3. And she sits down Stewart, 2 out.
Wow, and that's surprising because I thought that was the pitch that Stewart was looking for. That's a curveball in the inner half, and that is typically the pitch that Katie Stewart will hit to the moon and back. Great pitch by Rowling to pick up a massive strikeout.
So here's Reese Atwood, 2 on with 2 out. First pitch swinging. Reese drove in a run in the 3rd. 0 for 3 tonight. If the Dogs can get out of this, they will have 9-1-2 coming up. And a chance to walk it off in the bottom of the 7th. In the dirt. Maloney will take 3rd.
It's a good job by Miller to keep that mostly in front of her. That pitch was way off the mark.
It's a wild pitch from Rowling. So now runners on the corners. Atwood, not a play again. Maloney at third, Henry at first for Texas. 1-2 pitch to Reese Atwood. Swing and a miss. And Randy Rawlings strikes out Stewart and Atwood to end the threat. Last chance for the Dogs as we head to the bottom of the seventh.
Big situation last inning. Tegan Cavan showing why she is an All-American.
She came out of the bullpen in the seventh inning on Saturday to get a save. And now she will try and add a complete game win over Georgia. The Dogs will send up 9-1-2. And an effort to walk this thing off. They have not had a one-run win since early February against Nebraska. They're only one of the season. Lindemuth is 0 for 2 tonight. This is what Tony Baldwin has been preaching to his club. We need that one clutch hit to break through in the close games. Late in games.
Well, he calls it a boop and a blast. And he would love a boop and a blast.
Yes, he would.
Right about now.
Even a boop, boop, blast would be good.
Or a blast, blast, boop. I mean, whatever order, he'll take it.
Cavan ahead of Lindemuth, 1-2. Tegan with 6 strikeouts, most of them in the last couple of innings. Lindemuth, base hit. And that'll be extras. She'll motor around to second. And the tying run comes to the plate. And it's the top of the Georgia order.
Wow. For Lindemuth to have never had a hit off of Texas, to come into this series and just be clutch out of the 9-hole. She gets a pitch in the upper part of the zone, gets it down, and look at the way this skips. It's going to get past Bennett, get all the way to the wall. A leadoff double in the bottom of the 7th for Georgia and Lindemuth.
Guess who has the most home runs for Georgia this year? Kirsten Roos.
I'll bet that was a 1-2 rise ball that just wasn't up enough, and it was capitalized on, and Roos now looking for a pitch herself to hunt.
Roos jammed her and pops it up. Good at second. 1 down. Big pitch from Cavan.
That was huge. And that's recovery right there for Tegan Cavan to make a mistake on a 1-2 pitch and then be able to induce a pop-up and get an easy out like that. That's how you win ball games late in games, even when you've given up a big hit.
Next up is Jaden Goodwin. Singled back in the first. Launches one deep. Way back. And gone. 2-run home run. A pop and a blast ties it up for the Dogs.
Goodwin is great in a really big moment. Pitch that is just not elevated enough. It's at the belt, and that is a no-doubter deep into the night. Jaden Goodwin, massive blast to tie up this game. How about her 8th of the year?
First game-tying home run of the season for Jaden. And now one swing could win it for Georgia. Here's Taylor Ellison in the 3 spot, 0 for 3 tonight.
Well, Kavanagh is susceptible to the long ball. That's the 15th of the year that she's given up in her last 4 starts. It's the 7th home run she's given up.
Got a stoppage. Fan dropped something over the outfield fence, so Kavanagh will reset. A 2-run home run for Jaden Goodwin ties it. And now Georgia hunts their first walk-off win of the year. And a called strike 3, 2 down. And here's Sarah Gordon, who hit a home run off of Kavanagh on Saturday. As a single back in the first. Kavanagh in for a strike. Down the dirt, 1-1. Had not hit a home run in over a month before she went deep on Saturday afternoon. Out in front of that. She's been one of their best ball strikers the last few years. A 400 hitter coming in today. Georgia trying to win a series against the defending national champs. Texas trying to force extras here. Gordon staying in it.
Georgia protecting against that curveball. Tegan Kavanagh starting to use that curveball a little bit more here late in the game, going away from the right-handed hitters.
One-two pitch coming to Gordon. Pops it up. Drifting over and under it to make the catch is Nichols. Tony Baldwin calls her the ultimate ball whacker, and she does just that.
Yeah, she whacks a rise ball out of the yard. That pitch on the outer half. 8th home run of the year, none bigger. A 2-run shot to knot it up at 3.
At 3 apiece. And it's 4, 5, and 6 coming up here for Texas to face Randy Rowling. As the Longhorns will try and regroup after losing the late lead.
Well, and they had opportunities late in the game. They left 2 runners on in the 7th, 1 in the 6th. Texas has scored in not a lot of innings this entire series.
All 3 of their runs coming back in the 3rd. Rowling, and before that, Fisher had kept them quiet since. Vivi, however, is 3 for 3, 3 singles.
Yeah, they scored in just the first inning in game 2. Ended up losing that game 4-2 to Georgia, and then tonight, just in that 3rd inning.
Oh, 2 from Rowling. Waste one there.
Good catch coming off the
ricochet. Martinez smacks it through the 5-6 hole. And the go-ahead aboard for Texas to lead off the top of the 8th. 4 for 4 on the night.
Wow. She's been outstanding. 3 of the 4 hits going the opposite way, just letting that ball travel.
So now Leanne Good with an RBI single in the 3rd. Second 4-hit game of the season for Vivi. Good. Will that stay in play? It will not.
Interesting here to see if Mike White tries to run anything. He did have good sacrifice bunt in the 1st inning to move Martinez over to 2nd.
One from Rolling. Not looking to bunt there, 1-2.
Well, and this is where it's late in the game, but you know your job is still the same. You got to move your teammate into scoring position. Productive outs are the name of the game late.
Winner of this one takes the series 2-1. Both these teams in the hunt to try and move up into a top 4 finish in the SEC to get that double bye for the SEC tournament. Only a couple of weeks remain in the regular season. Leanne Good drills it deep center field, and that will find the bleachers. A very productive at-bat. Puts Texas back in front.
And consecutive hits on 1-2 counts. We mentioned earlier, Hannah Wells had a home run on an 0-2 count. Those pitches are too close to the zone for Randy Rolling in these situations. In this pitch, it's a rise ball that just does not get up enough, and Leanne Good gets all into that. A 2-run shot of her own to put Texas back out on front here in the top of the 8th inning.
Good and Martinez combo on that one. They've got 6 of the 10 Texas hits, and they have given the Longhorns the 5-3 lead. And still nobody out. Here's Hannah Wells. More production from 2, 3, 4, 5 in their lineup, which has been the case all weekend. Off the end of Wells' bat. Georgia has their 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up in the bottom of the 8th. And they would need to rally from at least a 2-run deficit. They did it in the 7th. And the deficit may be even bigger. Back to the fence, and that one will leave the yard. Back at the jack for Texas.
Hannah Wells, her second 0-2 pitch that she hits out of the park against Georgia and against Randy Rolling. Take a look at this pitch. 0-2 way ahead. That pitch is right down Broadway, right at the belt, coming inside, lefty to righty matchup, and it is tattooed over the left field fence. All 3 hits in this inning, giving up with 2 strikes.
Second home run of the weekend for Hannah Wells, and it's 6-3 Texas. And a pitching change here for Georgia. We'll take a break. School history. They have a 6-3 lead over Georgia here tonight. Ada Little is the new pitcher. 3rd of the night for Georgia. After a single, a 2-run home run, and a solo home run for Texas.
Ada Little, the freshman, good drop ball, screwball combination. Let's move east and west. Throwing from that left side.
Late game fireworks after Jaden Goodwin tied it in the bottom of the 7th with a 2-run home run. What a response for Texas, showing the fight. Right back to Little, 1 down.
This Texas team, one of the best in the business at doing that, counter punching after they give up runs. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Do they bring Tegan Cavan back out? Or do they give the ball to Citlali Gutierrez? They've had a couple of arms up and ready.
Here's Nichols. 1 for 3 with a single in the 4th inning tonight. Two and 0. How quickly things can turn.
Well, Beth, you know, that's why for young pitchers it's so important to think the game, know where you're at, what pitch are you throwing, what's the count, where am I trying to throw this pitch? I mean, all those questions you have to ask yourself before you deliver the ball.
Nichols swings through it. 2-2. And gets the strikeout, 2 down. That'll bring up the 9-hitter, Ashton Maloney. Has reached twice on an error and a walk. Scored a run back in the 3rd. What a response here for Texas in the top of the 8th. Back-to-back home runs. Win keeps them alive in the SEC championship chase. Keeps them very close to the top of the RPI and the KPI. Mike White has talked openly this year. We want to win the SEC, and we want to be better down the stretch, leading to another deep run in Oklahoma City. Maloney, and no play at first for Digby with Maloney's speed and a 2-out base runner. Here's Caden Henry for the 5th time. He's been on base a couple of times with a walk and a single. Takes a look at strike 1. Ray, Miller, and Novickis would be due up in the 8th for Georgia. Off the glove of Little, and that'll ricochet out into right field. Maloney racing around for third. And runners on the corners with 2 outs, and that gets Katie Stewart another at-bat.
There's so many weapons in this Texas lineup.
Couple of singles and popped up and struck out looking at a curveball in the 7th inning. 2 on for Stewart. Runner goes, no throw down. Henry has a stolen base. Her 22nd on the season. And is Georgia gonna say she left early? Challenge.
I think I read his lips, they're challenging.
I think they are challenging. I don't know why anybody would leave a base with Katie Stewart at the plate.
Exactly.
And Katie Stewart is not going to get a chance to swing. That's going to be the 3rd out.
Yep. Yeah, ate a little, has a little bit of a pause and a hitch in her wind-up and delivery. But you got to make sure that ball's gone.
Yeah, I mean, you may be trotting around the bases. Let her swing it. Looks like this will be a good challenge for Georgia. So Henry runs Stewart out of an at-bat and ends the inning. But it is 6-3 Texas, back-to-back at the Jack here in the 8th.
How about Leanne Good stepping up, a 2-run shot to get Texas the lead, and then Hannah Wells, the freshman, another 0-2 pitch as she takes yard, her 2nd home run of the series for Hannah Wells.
Winner of this one wins the series. We are in extra innings after Jaden Goodwin tied it up with a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 7th. And what a response from Texas Fight. Back-to-back home runs from Leanne Good and Hannah Wells in a 6-3 lead. So now can the Dogs answer back for the 2nd inning in a row? 5, 6, 7 are due up. It's Natalie Ray, 0 for 3 tonight.
And they're going to keep the ball in Tegan Cavan's hands for this 8th inning. 119 pitches.
Tegan's looking for her first win in her last 5 starts. In this tough stretch for Texas against A&M, Alabama, Oklahoma. They've got Oklahoma State in a couple of days. And it is a 3-0 count to Ray.
Good job by Ray, not chasing anything out of the zone. You got to work your way on base. One swing does not tie it up or win it. When you're in Georgia's position right now, they got to get people on base.
And Ray walks.
This is the stuff that makes coaches chew antacids.
That's just the 2nd walk from Cavan. Gets the tying run to the on-deck circle. And Marissa Miller, who has a couple of hits tonight, will step into the batter's box. And now all of a sudden Tegan having some trouble finding that strike zone. There it is, 1-1.
Good low rise, and they're continuing to throw the rise ball, not really going downstairs to that drop ball. When she has thrown her drop earlier in this game, it has been a little bit low. So staying with that premium pitch that she throws, that low rise ball, trying to keep it in the strike zone.
Miller to third. They'll get one at second, over to first, double play. And now Texas 1 out away from the win. And it's up to Gabby Novickus, the freshman from Chicago, to try and extend the game. Singled in the 4th. Walked in the 6th. One and one. Just got under it, and that will drift out of play. And now Georgia down to its final strike against Tegan Cavan. Late inning Game 3 heroics for the second weekend in a row for the Longhorns. Last week it was Katie Stewart with a walk-off in extras. And tonight, as it stands, Good and Wells with long balls in extras. Swing and a miss. And Cavan gets the strikeout to win it for Texas. And they take the series with a 6-3 extra inning W in Game 3 tonight. Cavan gets the complete game victory, and a pair of home runs in the top of the 8th inning get the job done for Texas. For our entire crew, Michelle Smith, Karen Johns, I'm Beth Mowens. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you midweek. Texas and Oklahoma State on the Deuce Wednesday.